Today, in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to enlighten you with the current topic. And today's topic is not only current, but very, very relevant. And the topic is childless couple, a new trend. Childlessness is the state of not having children. Childlessness may have personal, social, or political significance. Childlessness, which may be by choice or circumstances, is distinguished from voluntary childlessness, which is voluntary having no children. Types of childlessness can be classified into several categories. Natural sterility randomly affects individuals. One can think of it as the minimum level of permanent childlessness that we can observe in any given society and is of the order of 2%, in line with data from the Heterotrites, a group established as the demographic standard in the 1950s. Social sterility, which one can also call poverty-driven childlessness or endogenous sterility, describes the situation of poor women whose fertility has been affected by poor living conditions. People who are childless by circumstance. These people can be childless because they have not met a partner with whom they would like to have children, or because they tried unsuccessfully to conceive at an advanced maternal age, or because they suffer from certain medical issues such as endometriosis or polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, that make it difficult for them. People who are childless by choice. The first three categories are often grouped under the label involuntary childlessness. This category is often called voluntary childlessness, also described as being child-free, occurring when one decides not to reproduce. Many people today are opting out of parenthood. Financial concerns, burden of responsibility, late marriages are among the major reasons why they want to stay child-free. This brand of new thinkers is now actively shunning marriage and instead seeking partners who, like them, would rather be child-free. Not just singles, there are many married couples as well who are choosing to not embrace parenthood. There are multiple reasons why couples are opting to be childless. Some might not have had a very healthy childhood. Secondly, today's generations lives a fast life in metro cities. They have too many responsibilities on their shoulders and feel that a child would be a bigger responsibility. For the first few years, it is important to be with a child physically and mentally. But with today's lifestyle, one hardly has that much time to devote to a child. People are also marrying late these days, and then having a child might not seem a very good option, as they think they would be too old when the child grows up. Then there are financial issues, environmental issues like increasing pollution, etc. Childlessness in India is estimated around 2.5%. It's around 5.5% for 30 to 49 years age group and 5.2% for 45 to 49 age group. In absolute terms, it is around 4.9 million, and if secondary infertility is also added to it, then the total number of infertile couples is around 17.9 million in India. Now, I would like to tell you something about the childlessness at the age of 30. Now, I am giving you a three scenario. First is when the women born in 1927, at that time, those women were 28% childless by their 30th birthday. The second generation, women born in 1955, 30% childless by their 30th birthday. The first generation, which was born in 1927, is 28%. The second generation, which was born in 1955, 30% childless. The third generation, women born in 1982, 45% childless by their 30th birthday. This clearly shows that how the jump in very short time, say about in 30 years, it is almost 50% jump from 30% to 45% for the childlessness, those who are attaining 30 years of age. But in India, there are many who want the child in spite of all odds. And I am just telling you the yesterday news only. The Gujarat High Court has directed a Vadodara hospital to extract and store the sperm of a man critical due to COVID-19 after his wife expressed desire to bear his child. The said sample shall be stored at an appropriate place as per the medical advice as per the order. Now, so there are two things. One, we can see both sides of the coin, but the new trend, which is visible all over the world, especially now it is catching up in India, where the young couple, whether married or not, they are not interested for a child and they want a childless life. Even in USA, and now it has come in metros, that the girls, those who are working, they are not interested to conceive early, so they are storing their eggs for the future dates. Whether it is healthy, good or not, whether this delay of the or for having the child or a childless marriage or childless life is beneficial or not, to discuss this very, very important from all the angles, social, political, economical, and medical angle. We have a very elite panel with us. And I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and he's Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. Dr. Rajiv Anand passed his MBBS in 1976 and did MD in psychiatry in 1980 from King's George Medical College, Lucknow. He opted to serve his country when it was very common to settle abroad for brighter future. He has been serving society with his base in Mumbai. He has clients all over India as well as in many other countries. He was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by AMA. He has conducted more than 3,000 workshops for different groups and companies with audience size of 10 to 800. His television program on various channels have been widely appreciated for his forthright and practical approach. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 41 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows in domestic and internationally. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv Anand on our show. Dr. Rajiv Anand, as you are not only a senior psychiatrist, but you are also a marriage counselor. And you are getting lots of your clients, I will use the word, not the patient, as you have always mentioned, your clients who are not interested for the child or the children. And so we would like to know your views on this very, very burning topic, and that is the childless couple, a new trend. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please. Please unmute.
Thank you, Mr. Lal, for the kind introduction. And welcome to my colleagues, Dr. Rajvi, Dr. Meghna, and Dr. Natika. Usually we are supposed to speak for about 10-12 minutes. But today, in view of all my 3 colleagues who are expert in their field, I would cut down my talk just half in the beginning. And if time would permit, I would take half in the second half. We all agree the society is undergoing huge transformation, never before, unprecedented kind of a thing, where every individual is becoming so dominant in his views, so emphatic in his views, so dogmatic in his views. Every individual feels he has right to decide whatever he wants to eat, live, plan his life the way he wants. We are getting disconnected from a larger family. We are getting disconnected from the society, from the country, from the religion, or from any other value system. So these days, very disturbing trend In fact, I was very keen about this topic, so I requested Mr. Lal to take up this topic because this is concerning me as a human being. A disturbing trend is emerging that every girl who is in late 20s or in her 30s or mid 30s is taking a bold decision. I don't want to get back. And they feel entitled because they have a boom inside them. What mother or father or mother-in-law, father-in-law, husband got to do? This is my property. This is my prerogative to conceive or not conceive. And this is really alarming, disturbing trend which create anguish. What for we are here on the earth? To make a career, to earn a good salary, to become MBA, to contribute 14, 15, 16 hours to a company who paid us so much big packet of salary. And what we do with that salary, go to Starbucks, squander money, go to malls, wear branded clothes, go for trips abroad, and live life what we call my individuality, my independence, my wish, my way. Rest all is highway. Isn't it a disturbing trend? One hand, since ages, our society has celebrated women for being the in reincarnation or carnation of the God because they are the creator. I very strongly believe that women are worshipped, not for any other thing, whatever let lower people or less informed people may think that women are worshipped because of their body contours or because of their body curves. No. Women are worshipped primarily for the function of being creator next to the God. After the God, men can't create a child, women can create a child. Women are primarily worshipped, adored in the society because they were the creator, they could bring another human being on the earth. And that basic function is under great threat. From where this threat is coming? From the electronic media, from the serials, from the web series, from all kind of fictions, all kind of fragmented stories about अरे देखो उसकी शादी हुई वो शादी उसकी फेल हो गई हमें नहीं पता उसकी शादी क्यों फेल हुई नहीं कोई फायदा नहीं आजकल शादी पता नहीं चलती है नहीं चलती है देखो मेरे ऑफिस में 4 लड़कियां रहती हैं उनकी शादी जो है वो 6 महीने के अंदर हो गई हम कैसे बचा करें we allow our important decisions of the life to be influenced by serials which are purely fiction and by stories which are half cooked, uncooked, half baked, fragmented, unverified, unexplored. What made that marriage break? Or whatever in different part of the world marriages are breaking apart because individuals are not ready to commit, not ready to compromise, not ready to address conflict, not ready to learn, not ready to respect each other, not ready to nourish marriage. So they say that we will not like to take the risk of a child. If you have not understood life in general, if you have not yet comprehensively understood married life, intimate life, family life, who give you authority to just sweep aside no child? Because it is your womb, so you can sweep aside the possibility of another human being getting born on the earth. Because it is your womb, because you are potential mother, so you can stop. No, God, don't send the baby. I won't allow him. I won't allow him birth on this earth. I find it funny because whatever action we are taking today, and this is the message to all the girls all over, wherever they are listening. Do you think you have a right to stop a baby from getting born? Fair enough. You think you have, you may, possibly, but at a price. Not without a price, because I have seen people, I have met people 71, 69, 65, 55, 59, 51, living alone. Either the husband has left them, or they underwent divorce, or they are living alone. They have nobody to look after them. And then they say with the tears that somebody could have guided us in time. Somebody could have told us in time we shouldn't have done this blunder about not having a child or not going ahead, not taking a proper advice. So today's program is basically meant for trying to wake up people who are taking such an important decision about their life based on little bit here and say say a little bit of tidbits here and there, and such an important, on one hand, so much big section of society want more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 children. On the other hand, we people are here, one hand we say no, not even one child. Isn't that a paradox? What would happen in the society? One hand there would be people and people and people, and another hand there would be no one in the flat, no one in the building. So this is a wake-up call for all of us. Let's not play with our physiology, not play with our psychology. let's not play with the nature of our system, and let's understand more about what life is meant for. Life is not meant for just chilling and food and comfort and flat. It's meant for sharing. That's why everybody wants to get married. That's differently. We do not know how to share. We learn. We know more about fighting. We know hitting each other below and above the belt. We know more about accusing each other. We know complaining that you don't understand me. You don't understand me. We don't know how to accept and appreciate and adjust with each other. So we either prefer not to get married. Let's have a living marriage. Just interesting aspect I would like to mention over here. Recently, one couple came who were living in together for 7 years. Yes, 7 years. And third week in the marriage, they said, we can't stand each other. We can't just with each other. We want to call off this marriage. We are going to go divorce. Third week in the marriage, while 7 years they were living together. What does they negate? That we are okay as long as we are friends. We don't have much expectation. You use me, I use you. But the moment we get into a relationship, then we have to commit. Then we have to compromise. We are not fit for that. So let's call off the marriage. So marriage can be called off. Pregnancy can be called off for what? For your jid. The childless marriages need to be reviewed by everyone who is contemplating on it. Mr. Lal, I'm stopping over here. I'm looking forward to hear Dr. Rajbi, Dr. Meghna, and Dr. Latika. Time permit, I will come back in the end.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. And today's Dr. Rajiv Anand is taking a stand, which say, according to him, I'm just making it clear because these are his views. His views are very clear. He says that the girls are responsible. The modern girls are responsible. Sometimes they feel that this is their own property. Their body is their property. They will not allow anyone to take a decision whether they should bear a child or not. And that, according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, this is a very, very wrong thing. According to Dr. Rajiv Anand, we worship the women in India as a goddess because they are the creator. According to, I'm making very clear points. According to Dr. Rajiv Anand, because when I will be coming to my question answer, I am going to ask these questions to him, whatsoever he has mentioned. But what he says is that the responsibility lies with the media. Always, anything happens, shoot the messenger. Every responsibility is with the media because media is influencing. According to Dr. Rajiv Anand, media is influencing the web series or the OTT platform or serials are influencing the girls, and that's why girls are not interested to have a child. And he has given examples how they were living for 7 years together as a live-in relationship, but when they entered in the wedlock, within 3 weeks they have to call off. So according to Dr. Rajiv Anand, the girls should think that this is not their own choice. They have to think of the society. They have to think of the family. They have to think for the child, which is not born, but which can be born by them because they are responsible. They are the creator. They are the goddess. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. I am also not taking much time because I have lots of social questions to you, which I am going to ask.
Okay, permit me half a minute interview.
Yes, please.
You have issued disclaimer 8 times today, first time in the history of this
program.
Yes,
because to be very frank, if you want to know, I can tell you right now, I disagree. We are not worshipping women here. We are killing them. I'm boiling like anything. I cannot say we are double standard. Only 9 days, twice we worship goddess in Navratras, and rest days what we are doing. Sure. Sorry. Anyway, I want to keep it cool. Otherwise, my BP will go high. So I am going to come.
That is it. I hope I have not made any politically incorrect.
No, it's not a political. It's a social. But I am also talking from the heart. See, we are double standard. We are worshipping. We are saying we worship. What is the condition? I'm sure you have attended. We have so many discussions. The conditions of the women in India. How many rapes have started increasing day by day, molestation, whatnot. We are living in this society. How a girl, when she sees, you remember, we have done a program where the young mother of 2 years old was saying, I'm afraid what is going to happen to my child. Now that type of insecurity we have in our society. How you expect a girl, a educated girl, a working girl, to take a chance to bring somebody in this life and see to it they are going to suffer? That is one of the reasons that we will discuss when I will come to you. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving food of thought to me also. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Dr. Rajvi Sharma. Dr. Rajesh Sharma is a renowned consulting obstetrician, gynecologist, and fertility specialist at Mumbai. She did her MBBS from St. GS Medical College, Mumbai, and MD from Grant Medical College, Mumbai. She is very passionate about counseling. She believes in counseling patients to take an informed decision. She also did a course in counseling from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. Welcome, Dr. Rajvi Sharma on our show. Dr. Sharma, you have heard what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned.
Yes.
We would like to know, as a gynecologist, as a fertility specialist now, because his views are basically which he has seen, because he is a psychiatrist and he knows the mental conditions of the family, of the grandparents, basically the elderlies, how they suffer when they are seeing that their child or that their daughter-in-law is refusing to bore a child, or a daughter is refusing. Now, but as a gynecologist, as a obstetrician, as a fertility specialist, we want to know your views on childless couple, a new trend. Dr. Rajvi Sharma, please.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and greetings from Mumbai. Thank you, Mr. Goel, for the kind introduction.
Dr. Sharma, excuse me, your head is going bit up.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you,
Now,
Mr. Goel, for the
yes.
kind introduction. And I would like to thank Dr. Rajiv for having me here to speak on this very interesting topic, childless couples, a new trend. I will be putting all the aspects, social as well as medical, in my talk. Recently, I came across an article in Business Standard about France going child free to overcome population control and to reverse global warming. Their reasoning is, why do we want to impose another consumer on this world when we are already consuming so much of the resources that are available? Online, they call themselves GINKS, short for Green Inclination, No Kids. YouTuber Anna Bogan also tells her subscribers that when the planet has no resources left, I'll be 6 feet under. But if I have a child, they and their children will have to live with it. In France, one less child represents 40 tons of carbon saved per year, whereas use of an electric car represents only 2 tons saved. Now let's get to our scenario in India. In my 26 years of practice, till recently, I had only come across two groups of patients. One is who are already pregnant and they come for routine antenatal checkups and delivery. And the second is the infertile group. They are the involuntary childless group who want to conceive, with whom I interact day in and out as we are into assisted reproduction techniques like IUI and IVF, etc. Now, this group desperately want to conceive. They are childless for various reasons. It could be the male factor, it could be the female factor, that is ovulation factors, the tubal factor, the uterine factor, etc. So they undergo different techniques to try and conceive. But interestingly, I am finding a third group of young achievers who want to postpone their pregnancy or go child free, at least temporarily at the moment, so that they can focus on their career. But I think this trend of going child free for life may pick up in urban India, because we are living in a society where having a kid as soon as the couple ties the knot is the most logical thing, as logical as brushing our teeth in the morning. But this child-free trend is catching up now in India, though it is an uphill task, as these couples have to convince their families, their partner, if they are not on the same page, and the society in general. But just like any new trend or any new change, for example, live-in relationships which are now being accepted, I'm sure this is going to be accepted over a period of time. Now, there are various reasons. I am now talking of voluntary childlessness. Couples who want to voluntarily opt out of parenthood. There are various reasons for this, as Mr. Goel has already enumerated a few. Financial constraints of bringing up a child in a competitive world and meeting their demands along with their own desires of a luxurious life makes it very difficult for a couple to have a child, as both partners have to work to sustain the high cost of living. Focusing on career, where they feel it is very difficult to establish themselves these days than when it was 30 years ago. That's what they tell me, Doc, in your time it was easy, but now it is difficult. So having a child can push their career path by 5 to 7 years, which may be too late. Then burden of responsibility and the feeling of being bound. Since both the partners have long erratic hours of work, they find it difficult to manage work, home, and kids. And they do not want to come back home and stress about kids' homework, classes, etc. They do not want to shoulder the responsibility of a child, as the first few years of the child, it is very important to be with them physically as well as mentally. Late marriages, as Mr. Goel has said, many feel that they will be too old when the child grows up. Lack of support from the family, especially if they're staying away from home. Women empowerment. Women who are financially independent nowadays want to have the power of choice to make their own decisions and live life on their terms. Personal reason. Some just feel comfortable and complete within themselves and do not feel the need to have kids. Some do it for environmental reasons like overpopulation, global warming. Some may not have had a very healthy childhood, or some have seen children in the families with working parents struggling with a lot of emotional issues and do not want to do the same. Societal reasons, so much pressure on them to fit into the societal regime. Example, sending to the best schools, best classes, learn host of languages, games and skill as early as the age of 2 years, and hosting flamboyant parties, etc. Spiritual, socio-political reasons. In the current socio-political scenario, with so much of uncertainty, they do not want to bring another soul into this environment. And the list is on. There's an endless list. Now, there are many couples who do want to go child-free for life, but they are unable to do so or cannot do so for various reasons. The conflux of personal, interpersonal, social, and religious expectations may bring a sense of failure and loss in them. Relationships can become strained, uh, and one partner may seek to blame the other as being unwilling or defective. Childless couples are sometimes excluded from taking leading roles in important family matters and events. Judgment to the woman. The woman is judged or perceived as selfishly turning her back on her duty to procreate. In short, she isn't normal. Then fear of not being able to conceive at a later date in case they change their minds. Fear of missing out among peers, FOMO as they call it. Now, experts like Dr. Rajiv feel that there are two sides of every coin, and freedom comes at the cost of the most basic human experience, that is unconditional, selfless love. That is the emotion that a mother feels for her child and can go to any extent to keep the child's needs above hers own and feel satisfied. But as you know, we are living in a free world where every couple must seek guidance and take decisions considering factors like financial aspect, their career goals, their purpose in life, support system available, and many other factors so that they do not have the guilt or regret at the later stage in life. There is a lot that can be debated on this topic, but I would like to end my talk here by saying that couples should make an informed rather than an impulsive decision. And we have two very young, dynamic speakers following me whose views we would like to hear. Thank you very much, Mr. Goel.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajvi Sharma, for giving your views. And she has highlighted many reasons why the couples are not going for the child. And it's a new trend, according to her, is because the financial conditions are bad. So they think that if they will have one more mouth to eat, how they are going to feed that child. Then she says, now she has mentioned about the France, and she says in France, it's a new trend is for a childless society, because they feel that we are not going to leave anything for the new generations, or what is going to happen to the new generation, say after two or third generation after us. Then if we are not, so our responsibility is not to create or not to bring any further soul on the earth, so that there will be no burden on the earth or the nature. She also mentioned about the expenditures. She says so much expenses nowadays to have a child, where because of the pressure, societal pressure. You have to send to the best school, you have to send very good clothes and whatnot. Plus, you have to take them to the best hotel or restaurants, holidays. So all these things are the societal pressure. She also mentioned about the women empowerment. She says earlier the women were not empowered. Now they know their power. So they would like to take a decision of their own instead of whatsoever has been asked earlier to do, they were doing. So now they are liberal. They have to take their own decisions. And about the late marriage, yes, sometimes where if marriage takes place very late, so the afraid is that they will be old when the child will be young. So that is also a problem. So all these things, factors, she says, and she says that there are other couples who wants the child. There are other couples who are not having the child because of the medical conditions. But she says it's a free world. Everyone has a free choice to decide. So contrary to our Dr. Rajiv Anand, she has not put the blame on the girls. And she says that it is a free world. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajvi Sharma, for giving your views. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and she is Dr. Meghna Sarvaiya. Dr. Meghna is a highly experienced obstetrician and gynecologist with more than 16 years of experience. She has been associated with Cloud9 Hospital, Mumbai since its inception. She has done more than 1,700 plus deliveries and hundreds of gynecological surgeries there. She is particularly noted for her deep expertise in managing high-risk pregnancies and focuses on vaginal delivery. Welcome, Dr. Meghna, on our show. Dr. Meghna, you have heard Dr. Rajiv Anand as well as Dr. Rajvi Sharma. Both have given their expert views. Now, we would like to know from you your views on childless couple, a new trend. Dr. Meghna Sarvaiya, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goel, for having me on this conference. And a special thanks to Dr. Rajiv Anand for asking me to talk on this topic. It's a very, very burning topic because we have a lot of patients also today. As Dr. Rajvi said, I've also seen only two classes of patients, either those who are already pregnant or who have wanting pregnancy. So infertility on the rise nowadays. But we still have patients who come up to us and say that I just don't want kids. So it's a kind of statement which prompts in total disbelief from parents, and actually couples along with parents and in-laws come to us for counseling is to put something into their mind as that they do not want any more children. And after counseling them, their conversations leaves us completely blank and drop jaws. And finally, we come up to tell them that you'll probably change your mind eventually on this. But it is said that we live in a society where having a kid is considered to be the most logical and predictable step after tying the knot. After getting married, that's the next thing. A couple of years in marriage and everybody's asking, when are you having a child? When are you having a child? So that's a lot of social pressure. But many couples today are taking a decision to lead a child-free life. The reason for opting them for voluntary being child-free are different. The social trend of this is witnessing. As we always follow the West, the Western world, in Australia, US, a lot of people are opting to be child-free. And so as we followed them, in India also, we are trying to do this thing again. But the reasons here are family, finances, professional, a lot of things. We are now wanting, all couples today do not want to live in joint family, do not want to live with in-laws, wanting to live in nuclear families. So they feel that they can't get a child in this world because both of them are working and they do not have any help in the form of in-laws or parents to help them bring up the child. So they do not want it. They don't want, the woman today is a corporate woman, does not want to sacrifice her initial years of career. She feels she will go back 2-3 years if she has to give time to raise up a child. And husbands today are also in the fast metro world wanting to live up and trying to meet ends and can't manage it. A lot of women today and basically couples today don't want to compromise their life. So they have a fixed lifestyle. They want to enjoy life. They want to go out for outings. They want to go to pubs. They want to roam about the world, but do not want to take the responsibility of bearing a child. So main thing is that responsibility of getting a child in this world and not able to give them adequate time and right education and all the proper attention and care that you would want to give a child, rather than it's an easy way out, rather than choose not to have a child. Interestingly, there was a study which was by the Associated Chamber of Commerce Integrity of India, which was done at Delhi. So they said that a lot more couples are wanting to be child-free today. And these child-free couples are the ones which spend a lot of money. So they have a lot of money. That's a terminology which is called DINK, which is double income but no kids. So that is rising here in India today. And these couples spend a lot of money. So they want all the money that they earn to spend on themselves, to eat out, to enjoy and life. And there are couples also who want to think about the pollution part of it, or the rising child crime. So the number of rape cases or even sexual abuse, whatever is on the rise. So they do not want to take in that responsibility. They feel if they're going to be at work, they cannot put children in daycare, they cannot manage children. So with that rising trend, again, they do not want to have this couple, this child. The clinical psychologists today say that couples no longer view having children as the next natural progression in their married life, nor do they view their life to be complete after becoming parents. So they are now brooding about the fact that if they don't want children, they have a very comfortable life. It's going to be very, very easy for them. So they don't want to be called childless, but they proudly call themselves child-free. And this shows their change in their outlook. There are a lot of Bollywood couples also who are childless. But again, we do not know the reasons, and the reasons behind have been very, very different. But like Dilip Kumar, Saira Bano never bore a child. There was Javed Akhtar, Shabana Azmi, Salim Khan, Helen. Lot of couples today, even in the yesteryears, did not have children. The reasons of the infertility and everything were very much different. But as it is said by Dr. Rajiv Anand as well as Dr. Rajvi, there are always two sides of a coin. There is never... so if you don't want to have children, you have to bear the consequences of it. You are probably a misfit in your peer group, because moment couples sit together in groups, they're only discussing about what their children and everything are doing. So you would probably feel left out from there. You could probably not live in a continued relationship. At present, you don't want to have children. but after some years, you probably may lose your life partner to something and may live a life of complete loneliness. And then what are you going to do with all the money that you have? So there it is, being alone, not having anybody to take care of you. Also, there is a lot of when you thinking, you don't want to have it at that particular time later on in life when you are 50, 60, and you feel that you want to have a child. Probably it may be too late. With the recent trending, there are a lot of women who want to do their egg freezing and delay their pregnancies. But again, it is not very, very easy to do it at that particular time because your age is prolonged. You're at the age of 50, 60, you probably may not live long enough to bring up your children as you would want it. And so today you should not regret your decision, and you should not feel that nobody has properly guided you in this particular time. So with this, I would probably just want to say my into it. It is a informed decision. You have to take a very conscious decision on which way you want to go. Everyone's story is different, which makes humanity very beautiful and wonderful. Raising children or trying to conceive children or adopting children or trying to be child-free, all of these are valid choices. You want to fulfill your life and you decide whatever you want to take it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Meghna, for giving your views. And Dr. Meghna started with saying that in India, we always follow the Western world. Yes, we always try to follow the wrong sides of the Western world, but not always the good side. We always blame the Western world, but we are not looking in our side. But anyway, but she says because the Western people are nowadays going childless, so the Indian, especially in metro cities, they are also following. Secondly, one of the reason is the nuclear family. She says because the nowadays those who are working, they are in the nuclear family. Now it's very difficult to upbring a child without the help. Earlier they were in joint family, so the in-laws or those elderly people always take care, but now it's very, very difficult, and sometimes even the young generation doesn't want to stay with the elderly people. So one of the reason is this, that they don't want to have a child. And one more reason is that they never want, I don't know whether she mentioned or not, but one of the reason is that that young generation doesn't want that the child should be handled by the grandparents, because they feel that the grandparents pamper the child, and they are the reason that's why the child spoils. That is one of the reason which nowadays is trending. Secondly, she made the point, she says about the corporate ladder, because the girls, if they have to bore a child, they will be behind 3-4 years. And so because there is a race going on to reach on the top, and to reach the top, you have to be always competitive, you have to be in the office. But if you are not working for 3-4 days, definitely you are considered to be not for the top post. But she has come with the word she used, she says very, very common nowadays, that is called dink. Can you explain the dink, Dr. Meghnas, once again? Because I heard for the first time. I never. I was thinking. I always think drink, not dink. But yes, what is that?
So dink stands for double income and no kids.
Okay. So double income means the husband and wife both are working, earning money. And no kids.
And no kids. So no responsibility. They have their own me time.
Yes. Sorry, because I never heard this word. I always heard with it R. So it was always drink. Anyway, now coming, and she says, people earlier were afraid because people were having that, this is a childless women or couple. But now they say, no, we are child free. And they proudly say this. So there's a shift in the society, the thinking, their new trend is to say proudly. Earlier, there was a trend that people will feel that, oh, there's some problem is there. So all these things have gone. She mentioned, even in the Bollywood, many top heroines or the actors, she mentioned the name of Dilip Kumarji and Saira Bano. She mentioned about Javed Akhtar and Shabana Azmi. And so this is that they are not having any child, whatsoever the reason is. So that is the thing she says. But the drawbacks are, if they are, although they are free to decide, but the drawbacks are that they will feel lonely when they will become in 50s or 60s or 70s. At that time, they will feel that their decision was wrong. And that's why she says it is right to give a proper counseling right now. If they decide fine, even she is not in favor of egg freezing. She says, okay, today you can freeze the egg, but after 20 or 30 years, when you will be 50 or 60s, it will be again a very difficult task to have a delivery at that time, even with those eggs. But ultimately, she says the decision depends on the young couple. But these are the drawbacks, and these are the thing which is going on today. So she has given a very balanced view, like Dr. Rajvi, but not like Dr. Rajiv Anand. Thank you very much, Dr. Meghna. Now, I would like to invite my next guest, last but not the least, and she is Dr. Latika Chawla. Dr. Latika Chawla, MBBS, DNB, OBGY, MRCOG, UK. Dr. Chawla is a consultant obstetrician and gynecological endoscopic surgeon at Mumbai. She did fellowship in advanced minimal access surgery in gynecology under Dr. Rakesh Sinha in Mumbai. She did specialist training endometriosis surgery from India and UK. She is the international Vattikutti Scholar in Robotic Surgery awarded by the RSCOI 2016. She is the faculty at INMAST, INMAST, previously CMAST, CEMAST, Mumbai. She is visiting international faculty for laparoscopy training programs at Royal Stoke University Hospital in the UK. She is member representative organizing committee of AICC RCOG West Zone. She is member of FOGSI, IAGE, and GIBE, national and international publications. Her main area of interest in gynecological endoscopy are endometriosis, fibroids, hysterectomy, ovarian cysts, etc. Welcome, Dr. Latika Chawla on our show. Dr. Latika Chawla, you have heard Dr. Rajiv Anand, Dr. Rajvi, as well as Dr. Meghna, and they have given their views. Now, we would like to know from you your views on the childless couple, a new trend. Dr. Latika Chawla, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lal, for having me. And thank you so much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, also for having me here. I am very happy to contribute to this topic because I feel like there is a lot that is upcoming. There are a lot of misconceptions. And hopefully, through our discussion today, I think it will help a lot of couples. Thank you for the wonderful talk, Dr. Rajvi and Dr. Meghna. I will try not to mention the things that they have already mentioned. Child-free couples, as we all know, the trend is definitely increasing, significantly increasing. I think every second person in the OPD who's newly married comes and talks to us about preconception counseling. They want to know whether they are fit to carry a baby, both physically as well as mentally. They come to us asking about options that can delay pregnancy, like freezing of eggs, etc., so that they can be more financially stable, more stable in their careers when they eventually go ahead and plan pregnancy. So yes, we are seeing an increase in that trend. We do know that, yes, this trend has started outside of India, maybe more in Europe, in the US, in France, as Dr. Meghna mentioned. But I would like to concentrate a little bit more on the Indian scenario. I do feel that this is not really something that we are copying from the West. There are a lot of changes that are happening in the Indian society that is bringing about this change. For example, there are more increase in late marriages because women are trying to develop their career. There are more increase in intercaste marriages, which also then prompt women and couples rather trying to stay away from their in-laws because there are clashes related to religious issues. They do not want to bring up a child in an environment where there is that religious clash, and then they prefer to avoid bringing up a child in that environment. There are there's a lot of awareness, I think, in women now about the changes that their body also undergoes with pregnancy. I've had so many young, girls discuss about what changes they will expect in their body. And we underestimate, I think, as people, we underestimate what kind of changes a woman does undergo during pregnancy. If you see that the rates of postpartum depression have increased lot in the last 5 to 7 years, almost 1 in 4 women develop postpartum depression after pregnancy because they are unable to cope up with with bringing up the child. They are unable to give that much time to the child, especially if they are working, they have careers, they are pressurized by their corporates to join back work. Even us as doctors in private practice, we do understand that taking long leaves from work actually really does hamper your practice. So you are on a lot of level pressurized, and it has led to a lot of postpartum depression, especially in more educated and working women. Another thing I would also like to, talk about the Indian scenario is that even though we say we have, a support system, a lot of young couples, especially living in the metros, do not have that kind of support system coming in, help coming in from the family. Secondly, we also do not have set standards of maternity leaves, paternity leaves, that are there in the Indian scenario. There are a lot of areas abroad, especially in Europe, where there are designated leaves given to the family, both the mother as well as the father, to invest that time in the early birth, after the early birth of the child, and help the child settle down, help themselves settle down mentally, emotionally, and to set a pattern so that once they get back to work, they can effectively do that. Most of the times these maternity leaves are paid, which is again one of the things which is causes a financial pressure here in India, where maternity leaves are not paid most of the times. um, Somehow taking a long maternity leave or taking a break from a career is frowned upon, especially in our kind of a setup. Women are made to feel that they are not being able to manage everything and be the superwoman that they are expected to be, with the marriage, with the child, with work, etc. So I think these are a few of the important things that are really overlooked. Another thing is that we do say that today's marriages are modern. We have, the share of work, men and women come together and they, try to share the domestic roles as well. But we have seen that especially post the birth of a child, the burden of bringing up the child almost solely falls upon the woman. The man is not contributing as much as they should be in bringing up the child. The way we are brought up, even in our Indian households, women are supposed to be primarily responsible for the upbringing of the child, doing the homework, feeding the child, those kind of things. So even if a woman is working for 10 hours and coming back, she's expected that, when she's back from work, she's supposed to prepare the food of the child or make sure that, the child has been fed or the homework has been done. So the gender roles, though they're changing, they are not really equal as of now. I don't think that we have, a lot of modern women, educated couples who are still coming to us, the burden of responsibility still falls on the woman to bring up the child. I think child-free marriages have been considered as very selfish in our society. I have heard a lot of, senior gynecologists, senior professionals say that, oh, it is very selfish of you to think that you don't want to bring a child into the world. It's very selfish of you to think that you want to travel and you want to, broaden your horizons and you want to, find that sense of purpose or achievement in your life. Having a child is fulfillment of that purpose in life. A lot of people, say that, you will understand true patience, you will understand true commitment, you will understand true love, in fact, when you have your own child. Um, but of course, there are two schools of thoughts here. I think we are seeing an increase in the amount of couples who actually want to adopt children. They feel that adoption and giving a better life to children that really don't have everything is a greater sense of fulfillment than actually bearing your own biological child. Along with that, there are a lot of couples which I see have ailing parents. We always feel that, if we have a child, the child is going to take care of us. When we are older, we are not going to feel lonely. But that is changing quite a bit. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of children are now immigrating. They are going out, they are migrating to the better parts of the world for a better life, for a better quality of life. And the parents are still left lonely and childless, so to say. So they are still living a lonely life. So I don't think necessarily having a child means that you will not be alone. In fact, I don't know if you will feel worse if your child is not there to support you when you actually need them. Coming to, again, the same thing, that there are certain couples who come to me who do not want to have a child because they want to take the responsibility of their ailing parents. And it is not possible for them to take responsibility of their parents along with, take the responsibility of a child. I think that's a noble thought when I think of it from that aspect as well, because their ailing parents are also somebody who need a lot of care. And we say as the extremes of age are the people that need the maximum care. And unfortunately, again, if you see here, India and government provisions are not really made for you to take care of your parents. For example, a small thing like a medical insurance. If there is a family, who wants to take a medical insurance, generally your parents are not covered, but your children are. So small things like these make it more difficult financially as well for somebody who wants to take care of their parents, as well as somebody, who is contemplating having a child. Having said that, I also feel that we underestimate the amount of, compromises that marriages take. I remember asking, I'm adding a personal note to this. I remember asking my mother, who's a homemaker, that, what is it that you really like eating? Today we're going to make something that you like. And she said that, what, it's fine. Whatever you like, we can make. Whatever, my father likes, he can make. But she didn't, for a very long time, she wasn't able to answer that question that this is what I like and this is what I want to make. This might sound like a very small thing, but I think that a lot of times when we put, we have seen women who have done, who have lived their lives and their lives revolving around their children, somehow have not really explored themselves enough. This trend is now coming across with education, with women empowerment, with feminism, with equality, for women to want to explore their purpose in life, what they like, what they want to do, how they want to live their lives, and not really be, dependent on what their family or society or the child is expecting out of them. The rates of domestic violence in India have really, really risen. 1 in 3 women actually experience some form of domestic violence. Most of these women do not want to bring a child into the marriage because having a child in the marriage makes it more difficult for them to actually get out of these marriages. The child also suffers a lot when a child is brought up in such an environment where there is a lot is domestic violence. So I want to just wind this up by saying that we are in an area, we are in a changing India. There is a lot that is changing. And I think as educated adults, we shouldn't be judgmental. That is what where I am coming from. I feel that, yes, we do have the options to give them now, to tell them that, yes, you conserve your eggs. And maybe when you change your mind, if you do, you have an option for a healthier pregnancy. But having said that, I don't think we should judge them. We should show them both sides of the picture. And ultimately, I think, a happy parent is a happy family and a happy child. And that should be, I think, the priority than just bringing the child, as to how we can contribute to the growth of the child and ensure a better future for him or her. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Latika Chawla, for giving such a, I must say, very forthright views, contrary to Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. You, and because your views, what you have mentioned is, I will just summarize few about the late marriage, intercaste marriage. These are the reasons that they are not interested to have the child. Body changes, which is a very, very important point. When a girl has pregnancy, definitely, and after the child delivery, so many body changes she has to undergo. And the depression. she says that there is a depression because they could not cope up with the work. Many times they could not take the care of the child or the family members. Support system, because there is no proper support system in India. And she has mentioned 2-3 very, very important points. One is about the whatsoever we say, we are very advanced, but we in India still, the women are not as free as the men. And she says that women have to take care of the child more than men. Now here, Dr. Latika, like one of the panelists mentioned that we follow the in Western countries, they both, husband and wife, share each and everything. If the husband reaches early at home, he used to cook everything, keep everything ready. He used to take care of the child. But here in India, it's not like this. So she says that is one of the main, very big reason that whatsoever we say, but the women has to suffer more if the child will be there. And they says that because we are very selfish society, and the society is so selfish, they just think of themselves. They are not bothered what is happening to the women of the country. She says now the trend is for adoption. People wants to adopt the child. This is it is a very, very positive thing, because in Western countries also people are going for adoption. And if they are not getting child there, they come to the third world country like even India. But Indians are also now going for the adoption because they feel that at least they are giving a home to a homeless child. Then she says that one of the reason is that because everyone, earlier panelist has mentioned about the loneliness. She says even today, those who have the children or child, their child or the children are all settled abroad. So they are mainly of them, and they are spending their time in loneliness here. So whether they have a child or no child, it makes hardly any difference. And this is very practical, that we have seen in the society. Because those who have a educated child, for want of a good job, for quality life, they migrate. And once they migrate, it is very difficult to call the parents so easily because of the immigration conditions. So the parents also have this. They always say, no, we are born here, so we want to stay here only. So that's why they are lonely. So there is no excuse to say that because the loneliness, even if you have a child, you are lonely and whatnot. And she has also blamed the government. Yes, government has to be blamed. I'm not talking of a political party. Government, no care for the elderly, nothing. So that even the insurance abroad, insurance means which covers your parents, yourself, and the children. In India, only the children or yourself, and that too till the. But there they says if your parents are dependable, because after a certain age, all the parents become dependable on the child. But here, what is going to happen to a healthcare? So that is one of the reason. And domestic violence, she says, one of the very big reason, because every out of four women, one has suffered, or out of three, one has suffered the domestic violence in one way or other. So that's why they are afraid to have a child. And she says, as per the new trend, it is advisable in some certain extent if they want to preserve their eggs, yes, they can. And if they change their time whenever, because both the sides can be explained to them. These are the positive side if you are not going to have child. These are the negative child if you are not going to have a child. Depend. And if they says that we want to preserve the eggs, afterwards, whenever their mood changes, they can go for that. So she is very, very clear. She says we are very free, we are educated, we have to see many drawbacks. Even if she mentioned that we are practicing our medical profession, if we are away for long, we also suffer. So according to her, to impose, to say one should have a child is not correct. That is their free will. Thank you very much, Dr. Latika Chawla, for giving these views. Now my question goes to Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand, my question to you is, please don't blame the girls. Blame the society. This is our society which is accelerating this childless issue. I understand your views as a custodian of society. What you are saying is right. But who is to blame? The girl sees in her house the way the elderly treated, how her mother or father treated the grandparents. The girl sees that and she feels so bad that she doesn't want to treat that, see that she will also treat like that, be treated, she will be treated like this by their children. One of the reasons. Second reason is the dowry. When the girl sees that the father has to beg money, beg for her wedding, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 5 lakhs, 5 crores, and that then she feels, why I will bring someone here to give the dowry? No. So these are the very, very important aspect in our society. That's why, yes, one point one can say that they are learned, like Dr. Latika said, they are educated, so they can decide. But in India, majority are not that lucky to migrate or to have to be in the metro cities. Majority stays in small cities. But there the trend is changing because of the societal thing. What you say about this, Dr. Rajivan?
Okay, Mr. Lal, I have no reason to disagree with your really heartfelt observation about deteriorating social values, deteriorating personal values as regards the respect towards the female gender is concerned. I have no reason to disagree. In fact, as a humanistic point of view, I and you both are on the same page. We all have deep concern about that women should not be pushed to that background where they feel humiliated, where they feel that they are cursed to be born as a female in this society, which the number of cases which are coming out through the media, all kind of media. Unfortunate trend is that the people who consider themselves leaders of the political parties, recent case of what we are hearing about pornographic clippings and pornographic business, where many of people are aware that how many more people are involved from industry to the politics and whatnot. People who are political leaders as well as religious leaders as well as social leaders, they need to think the so-called human evolution, what we often tom about, that over thousands of years we have progressed, human evolution. Is it true? Do we still treat women only as a childbearing or child-producing machine? Do we still treat women as a plaything? Why do we use women on every hoarding? And do we use women on every hoarding as a covered, the way we have seen our mothers? Or we indirectly leave so much to be imagined, or rather not leave so much to be imagined about. We use their sensuality and their curse to sell a product. It may be car, it may be anything. Somewhere the business of making money has pushed everything behind. And I'm little disturbed to say that large number of women, which is not an accusation, are getting lured by the business, by the money, by the comforts, by the luxury, and departing from sitting with themselves alone or with their mother or their dearest friend of any gender, and looking inside, what are they here for? What are they here for on this earth? What's the basic purpose God has sent them? If you believe in, if you trust in God, which many of them have begun distrusting God. Who the hell God is? We don't know anyone. Then how did you get born? Dr. Meghna has been kind enough to, and she has given me the gift of 2 grandchildren. Should I consider her God? She did her duty, but eventually something came from high up. So we should acknowledge that power which is endowing us, which is which is making us carry out a certain duty. Let's not get lured by the business. I fully agree with Mr. Lal. There's so much in the society which is going down to maximally possible condemnable level, each one of us read. Rather, these days, many of us are feeling disgusted about reading newspaper or watching television serials or watching news because there's so much of negativity, so much of dirt is there. One doesn't know where to go. But should that mean that I should stop eating food? I should stop breathing. I should stop living. I should stop respecting you. If I call you Mr. Lal, if I call you Lal Sahab, should I call you by your first name straight away in a derogatory way? Should that mean that I should give up my values? What gives me pleasure? What gives me comfort? Unfortunately, what is happening, the trend world over is that more and more people unknowingly, unconsciously are becoming a reactor. Now, the word reactor is used in the context of the nuclear reactor. Now, I'm using deliberately in the context of the behavior reactor. That we have arrogated to us, assigned to us the right of reacting to every damn thing happening around without responsible observation, without responsible understanding. If some people are eating pizza in Italy, they must be having reason. Some people are eating a particular kind of food in Mexico, they must be having reason. If some people are eating a particular kind of Thai dish, they must be having a reason. We can have that taste once in a while, but we can't eat morning to evening 30 days in a month. But we are aping that. Or anything happening anywhere, we are reacting by changing our life accordingly. So maybe in certain section of society, and I repeat the word certain section of society, be it DINK, be it that they're living in a certain part of society or certain city or metropolitan city or economics or their option of dealing, but large section of women do need to think, are there greater advantage of having a childless marriage? Or there are greater joy of motherhood? And I'm sure all gynecologists have experienced firsthand the greatest joy what a girl gets in a lifetime, much more than a Nobel Prize, much more than 100 crores falling into her lap, is falling of a baby in her lap. Let's accept that as a part, as the biggest blessing from the God. Let's not question that. Back to you, Mr. Lal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Yeah, in India, the main problem is that we are always been blackmailed emotionally, and that's why we always try to. Once this thing comes, the girls have to give up, and she says, "Okay, if that is joy," but whether they are really feeling that joy or not, we can't say because we have neither me nor Dr. Rajiv Anand has have that experience. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Now my question goes to Dr. Rajvi Sharma. Dr. Rajvi Sharma, you have talked about the sustainability development. You say that what is going to happen after 2 generations? That is where now everyone is talking about the sustainability development, that we have to leave something for the new generations. Do you think in India we are so much aware about this thing, or we are just listened that France has done? France girls are saying that we are thinking about 2 generation or 3 generation downtrend. So that's why one of the reason is, or they are really now the awareness has come. They feel that today the water shortage is there, the no wood will be this, trees will be there. So many global warming is coming. Are there girls have become really that much aware in India? That is one of the reason or not?
I think the young girls who are in their 20s and 30s are definitely aware because of the social media that is accessible to them. Yes, they're definitely aware of the environmental issues, global warming. They are concerned about it, and they want to take a positive step towards it. So that is the reason they want to go child-free, which probably I think the generation of 40, 50s might not realize. Even for me, it's a new concept. I cannot imagine being child-free for the sake of this. But yes, the younger it is definitely, there's a lot of awareness. I have interacted with many girls who have brought up this issue with me.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Dr. Rajvi Sharma, for giving this view. Now, my question goes to Dr. Meghna. Dr. Meghna, now I have to be very careful because Dr. Rajiv Anand has already disclosed that 2 grandchildren delivered by at your place. do you think only the girls are responsible for the child-free society? The male is not, the man is not responsible, only the lady is responsible, or it is a decision by the couple themselves, or only the women decide, no, I don't want child, or a male also decide that, no, we don't have child, and they both decide, and then that's why they go for child-free. What you say about this, Dr. Meghna?
No, it is not only the woman who decides. It is always a couple decision. It's a joint decision. Both of them are. So women today who don't want to bear a child ultimately end up looking for partners also who have like-minded. So they end up, living with a live-in relationship, as was told earlier, staying in for 7 years. So they're being together. They have a joint decision that they don't want to bring a child in this world because of whatever reasons they may be having. So tali ek haath se nahi bachti. It cannot be only one person having the decision. It is always a joint decision which will make the couple. Otherwise, it will end up in divorce and conflicts and everything. So if they want to live child-free, then it is a joint decision. Has to be.
So according to you, it is not only the girl's decision, even the boy also look for a partner who is of the same view, that childless life.
Yes,
okay.
definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Meghna, to clarify this. So I think Dr. Rajiv Anand, anger or reservations or observations only for girls has to be for both. We should also take the responsibility, not we should pass only to the women. But I will come to Dr. Rajiv Anand afterwards. Now my question goes to Dr. Latika Chawla. Dr. Latika Chawla, you mentioned about the corporates and that you have to. Don't you think there is a jealousy? There is not, I will not use the word competition among the women, or insecurity. They feel that my husband will go ahead of me, and then tomorrow he may start dictating me. So I have to be with him always. I have to see that I should not be below him in the corporate ladder or in my workforce or wherever I am working. So that's why she doesn't want a child. She wants to be equal to the male. That type of feeling is there. He feels that if she will have a child, she will be 2-3 years below that the ladder what her husband have gone. What you say about this?
So actually, there could be this, this thought process as well. Not really that, comparison with the husband. I would say it would be more, so to say, her own personal goals to want to achieve a certain, stage in her life. And wherever she works, I mean, as colleagues, she is going to have male colleagues with her as well. So I think that sort of a thing, that her male colleagues will be doing better than her if she takes a 2-year break or a 3-year break, and they would be given preferences, actually is very prevalent in the corporate world as well. I mean, there are a lot of females who are on good posts who take maternity breaks, and then, somebody else is taken in their place because, once you have a child, I mean, there are a lot of patients who come to us and they say that, you're actually asked when you're taking up a new job and told that, you will not be conceiving for the next 2 years or 3 years. And it's very, very common, because that is considered as something that that the woman will not be able to commit to her job as much as a male would. So more than a husband, I feel that it is the environment at the office, at the corporate setup where she is, which probably pushes her to not take that break and to continue with
okay.
pursuit of a career.
Thank you. Dr. Latika, I just want to clarify one thing. You mentioned about the leaves, paternity and maternity leave. Government of India has declared for 6 months paid leaves in India for maternity. In other countries, like UK, 6 months is a paid leave. After that, there is some deductions, but one woman can take up to 1 year leave, maternity. And paternity leave, some corporates are giving for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. Abroad, I can't say about India, but I think the India is also coming out with some scheme of paternity leave. Now, thank you very much, Dr. Latika, to give your reply. Now, I am coming back to Dr. Rajiv Anand because I want to give him the last word today. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please switch on your video. Yeah.
Sure, I'm
yeah.
able to.
Dr. Rajiv Anand, now I am coming to a very, very different question to you. There is always mentioned about if the childhood is not happy, Now, it is basically a mental problem, that if a child is not happy during her childhood or his childhood, we are talking of both, because as Dr. clarified that they both take decision about the child free thing. So do you think this is one of the main reason? Because if child has seen whether domestic violence, whether whatsoever he has seen, the ill treatment to the grandparents, or the fight between parents, beating or whatnot, so she, or especially the girl, doesn't want to undergo that type of trauma, and that's why they take such type of decision. You might be getting many of such type of patients who are, clients who are talking about their disturbed childhood. What you say about this, Dr. Rajivan?
Okay, Mr. Lal, it's a very, very pertinent, very burning question. And this question is concerning more to a simple thing called intelligence. Intelligence. It may sound a little odd for average listener. What intelligence has got to do? Intelligence has got plenty to do with our redesigning our life to optimize it to the present requirement. We have deviated, or we have come far away from a radiogram or a big radio to a transistor to everything now in the phone. The intelligence has packed everything right from watch to the camera to the music system in the phone, which is handy. Now, intelligence does mean that in the past, not that we were bad when we were using radiogram or other things, but now we have better technology. So even if our parents, who were great parents, unarguably, each one of us bowed down before our parents, who did a lot to give us whatever best they could give us in their means at whatever variable level. Yet, with a better understanding, nowadays we realize that we can give much more than what they could give to their children. Either they had more number of children because of poor health conditions, so survival rate was less. They had to produce 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Today, going beyond one is considered to be nightmare. How we would, from where we would bring the energy, emotional, physical energy, leave aside finances and social constraint. So today, the parents have a better option to provide than what they got in the child. Secondly, we would also agree that our parents did not respect us. The word respect, they loved us. They cared for us. They nourished for us. But they did not respect us as an individual. To the grandchildren of 2 years age, they expect us to respect their individuality. And we have to accept it, whether we like it or do not like it, but we have to accept it and we have to accord them that. So we are better informed, we are better enlightened on what are the current requirement of the society, and we have to go by that. Nothing wrong in that. Evolution doesn't have to remain on technological level of television and mobile and other gadgets. Evolution has to happen at the emotional level, how we can make life better for us, for our nearest and dearest one. Last sentence I would say, for women, they're having a great office, having a bigger car, having a bigger balance in the bank. That's one part of society. Society doesn't move only on the offices or on the bank balance. Society deep down moves on the system of society being nourished. And that function had been largely invested since ages only with the women. Let them be aware about it. Let them not forget that. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. So, viewers, you have seen the views are very, very clear that yes, the problem is about the childless couples lies with the civil society. If we would have given the best, as Dr. Rajiv Anand has also mentioned, intelligently, or giving them the respect to the children at that time. We love the child, but we forget that they are individual human beings. We have to respect them. And we have to be a role model, real role model, not forced role model. Then the child, when they grew up, whether the male or female, they would not like to go for the childless marriage, because they would like to be having blessed with a child, as Dr. Rajivanand has mentioned very clearly. It's a very, very divine happening to a lady and even to a man. When one can understand, and I think Dr. Rajivanand and we both have that experience to see the child delivered to our wives, and when they deliver, how happy a male, although they never express, but they also have the same feeling what a lady is having. Of course, the lady is having more because of the pain, because of the all the hurdles she has faced. But responsibility is with the society. Trend is going like this. They are thinking sustainable development. They are thinking about the climate, the environment, whatnot. But still, I think my personal take is it is because the society, our own misdeeds, whether it's in the form of dowry, whether it is in the form of not having a girl child, and that is also impact on the siblings, on the girls. Always they feel if the elder one girl is there, and if the next child they want to abort, they have aborted. I'm not talking now 30 years back. Definitely the girl also felt that I am an unwanted child, and that's why they do not want to bring a child which will be treated unwanted in the society. So please, civil society, we all are responsible. We have to change ourselves, and then I am sure that the young couples will change their trend very easily. But we have to change. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, as well as first shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor to bring to you every day a guest in the evening for the program called Kal Aaj aur Kal Lal Goel ke Sang at 4:30 p.m. It's a half an hour program for those who have reached on the top of their life. So we would like to take their autobiography from their own mouth. It's a half an hour program. And today my chief guest is Professor Dr. Shiv Kumar Magda. He's a professor and head Fisheries Research and Information Center, Bengaluru. He will be telling his own life journey, how he started from the childhood until now, and his message to the young generation or to the youth. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajivanand. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajvi Sharma. Thank you very much, Dr. Meghna. Thank you very much, Dr. Latika. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. I'm sure today's program is quite enlightening, and definitely it will give some impact to us, all of us. Thank you very much.